Bukhari, narrated by Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu. Prior to Ramadan, I started a series of hadith. Like the topic that I had chosen was understanding Iman. I think I did either 8 or 9 hadith that talked about that. I can't remember anymore. And then we cut off, obviously, for the pre-Ramadan series, and then we on. Then I took a week off, and now we're back. So I'm going to continue within that same topic. It's a large one, and it's not because I'm running out of stuff that are interesting to talk about. I think understanding Iman or comprehending faith is an extremely important and central aspect of our deen. And we don't actually, wallahu alam, in my opinion, we don't spend enough time actually contemplating it. I mean, it's something we just take for granted. Because we're born into Muslim families, Iman is a word that is thrown around a lot, so we feel like we understand it well, and we just kind of go with the flow. But I don't feel that to be the case. I don't really think we fully understand what it means to have Iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is why I did the 7-episode series throughout Ramadan that talked about facing disbelief. And especially if you're a university student or high school student, if you haven't listened to them, you should probably listen to them and maybe even offer feedback on them, because they're designed for you. So the hadith tonight is what you've heard. You've heard it before for sure. It's not a unknown hadith, but I think it's important that we take a moment and think about what it means. Is what he says, alayhi salatu wasalam. The hadith narrated by Sayyidina Abbas. قال لا يزني العبد حين يزني وهو مؤمن ولا يسرق حين يسرق وهو مؤمن ولا يشرب حين يشرب وهو مؤمن ولا يقتل وهو مؤمن. So he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, and Ikrimah has a few questions on this, so you'll see the continuation of the hadith. But what he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, is that the servant does not commit adultery, when they commit it, or when he or she commits it, in a state of iman, وهو مؤمن, when the person actually has a state of iman. Nor do they steal, if they steal in the state of iman. Nor do they drink alcohol, obviously, or something that's haram, when they drink it in a state of iman. Nor do they kill in a state of iman. فقال عكرمة فقلت يا ابن عباس كيف ينزع الإيمان منه أو من قلبه. I said, oh Ibn Abbas, how is it that iman is removed from them? فقال ابن عباس هكذا وشبك بين أصابعه ثم أخرجها. So Ibn Abbas said like this, and he put his hands in this form, like he put his fingers together and clutched them together, and then he moved them. فإن تاب عاد فيه, and then if he does tawbah, then it goes back in again. And I find this to be extremely interesting. Obviously, Ibn Abbas wouldn't have said that had he not actually learned that from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. He didn't actually say that, but he wouldn't have used this, this gesture had he not learned it from the Prophet alaihi wasallam himself, because it's actually adding something to the hadith. But this is an extremely important concept to understand, that Iman is not something that once you get, it stays with you. You obtain it, and then you have to actually work on keeping it where you want it to be, or else it can also you can lose it, because we usually see Iman as I believe in something. I believe in La ilaha illallah. That's not changing throughout my day. Like even when I do something wrong, I still believe in La ilaha illallah. Great, that's awesome. That's not really what Iman is. Iman is more than that. It's more than just I believe in a concept, because the belief in a concept that does not result in a behavior that is aligned with the values of that belief doesn't mean anything. Believing in a concept, but your behavior not reflecting the values that that concept actually means doesn't mean anything. It's a meaningless. If I come to you and I say I love you, and then I slap you really hard on your face, and then every time I see you I say I love you, and I punch you really hard in the guts, and I take what your wealth, or I oppress you, then my words I love you are meaningless to you. Actually, you hate me more because of them. You're like, at least be honest. At least tell me that you don't, so it works. Don't tell me something and then act in the opposite manner. It's actually very problematic, which is why nifaq, in which we talked about that before, nifaq is such a horrible thing in Islam, because a kafir is at least honest. They come and say, I don't believe in any of this, which is why I'm not going to practice it. But a munafiq comes and says, I believe in all of it, and then they practice none of it. That's a problem. So Iman is more than just believing in an abstract concept. No, it's something more than that, which is why the Prophet ﷺ is saying, when you do it, you don't do it when you have a state of Iman. At the moment you're doing it, you lost your state of Iman. So maybe you believe in it, but it's not strong enough to actually follow the meanings, or follow the articles of that faith, or follow the commands or the rulings that are attached to it. Not enough. So you don't have it. It's not really there in you anymore. You lost it. And then you can bring it back again. So understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not interested in just this idea of La ilaha just as an idea that exists somewhere in space. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is interested in it becoming Iman, something that is going to generate behavior, it's going to generate a certain way of life, which is what Iman actually is. Iman in Arabic is when you believe in something so profoundly, that's all you can think about. That's what Iman is. It's I believe in something so much that nothing will ever change my mind. That's all I live for. That's what He wants, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The abstract concept, whatever. That's why when you say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, so you and only you, He says, fine, we'll see about that. That's بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ عَبْدِي. That's between you and me. We'll see. You claim it. Let's see it. Can you personify it? Or is it just words? Which is why the Prophet ﷺ gave this hadith. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A mu'min can perform, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawbah, can perform mistakes and sins, but when they're doing it, you're not really a mu'min at that moment. Well, what do I do? Yeah, exactly. That should be your question. How do I make sure that I don't lose it so I don't? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the question you should be asking. That's exactly what you should be looking for. How do I not lose my Iman so I don't fall in the same sin? I keep on making the same stupid sin. I don't want to do it. Based on this hadith, what he's saying is that when you're doing that sin, you're not really a mu'min. Well, how do I hold on to my Iman so I don't perform the sin? Perfect. Now we're on the right track. Now at least we're thinking in the right direction to actually achieve something, because that's what we should be looking for. يروي الإمام البخاري في صحيحه عن ابن عباس قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يزني العبد حين يزني وهو مؤمن ولا يسرق حين يسرق وهو مؤمن ولا يشرب حين يشرب وهو مؤمن ولا يقتل وهو مؤمن. قال عكرمة قلت يا ابن عباس كيف ينزع الإيمان منه أو من قلبه؟ فقال فشبك بين أصابعه وقال هكذا ثم أخرجها ثم قال فإن تاب عاد فيه. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت استغفرك وأتوب إليك. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خيرا.